Hi, here's a quick tutorial for Create WavePath. I'm the creator of Create WavePath, Omkar Kulkarni, and let's just jump into it. So here are two waves. One of them is created with WaveWart method and the other one is created from Create WavePath. With the WaveWart method, what we get is these anomalies where the stroke becomes thicker at the ends of the wave and then it becomes thinner on the other parts. That's something you might want, but you don't always want that in your wave. Whereas the wave made from Create WavePath has a constant stroke all across the board. This was a problem which I came across a lot when I was working with a lot of illustrative styles where I wanted the wave stroke to be even, and that's why I made this. So now let's see how it works. So here's the Create WavePath panel and there are two buttons on it. There is a new wave and there's null on wave. Also you can dock this panel and I would dock it right here because it doesn't take that much space. This is a beta version, that's why we have kept it very basic and it's very bare bones. There is not at all any bloat on top of it. So now let's create a wave. To create a new wave, you just click on new wave and a new wave is created with default settings. Now let's get through the controls and settings of this wave. So the number one setting is speed, which is pretty simple. It's the speed at which your wave is moving. So right now it's 1, so it's moving pretty slowly. If I increase it to say 25, it's moving fast, and you can increase the speed even more to get that weird illusion that there are two waves moving, but it's just one wave which is moving. Yeah, this is pretty fun. Now amplitude is the vertical length of the wave, how long the wave will be vertically. Now let's jump to frequency. Frequency is the amount of crests and troughs a wave will have. The more the frequency, the more crests and troughs a wave will have. As I increase the frequency, the lines are becoming jagged. Now this is maybe something that you want to go with, but maybe you don't want to go with this. To fix that, you need to increase the resolution. The resolution is basically the amount of points there are on a wave. The more the resolution, the smoother the wave is, but obviously it will also cost us our processing power. Right now it's in beta version, but we are working on a different method to create a wave so that this problem gets solved and it won't be as laggy as this is. Okay, so now let's jump onto the width. Width is also pretty self-explanatory. It's just how wide your wave is. Now comes an interesting setting. It's dampen start. Before we talk about this setting, I'll put this to 0. We have to concentrate on the start of the wave. This. As you can see, right now the starting point is moving back and forth through the amplitude of the wave. But as soon as I increase the dampen start to say 50, it gets attached to the center line of the amplitude. That's what dampen start does. It dampens the start of the wave, which gives us a lot of interesting variation in the wave. And dampen end does the same thing for the end. So let's increase that as well. And yeah, this is an interesting wave that we get. A lot of times when I used to animate, I used to run into this problem where I wanted to attach the wave to some object, whether it's a rocket or something. But it used to be a huge problem to attach the wave to any object when I use the wave warp method. Of course, you can add a Bezier warp or a mesh warp and do it, but again we should have a simple method for it because we use waves a lot. So that's what dampen start and dampen end do. And now the last setting is the phase offset. Phase offset is an interesting setting, especially when we have two or more waves, and we will probably have two or more waves generally when we are animating. So let's duplicate this wave and let's add a phase offset, and that's when we can see an interesting shape emerging. Now obviously we can also change the speed of this so that we get something which is fun, something like this. But anyway, that's all about the settings of WavePath. Now one more interesting thing that we can do with the WavePath is attach objects to the WavePath. Now let's take an example of this star. This star right now is not attached to the wave, but what if we want to attach it to the wave? So let's click on WavePath and let's click on null on wave. What null on wave will do is it will create a null for the WavePath you have selected. So we have created this null here. And right now it's on position 1. Let's take it say to here. And now let's take our star to the same position. And now let's just parent it to the null. So now our star is parented to the wave path and it moves with the wave. You can also animate this slider to get some cool animations that way as well. So with Create WavePath, you can create waves with a click. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope you download Create WavePaths and make some really cool things with it. And if you do create some cool things with it, Do tag me on Instagram. My handle is temporally impaired. And yeah, I hope you have some fun with this. Bye bye.